One of the things nobody thinks about when they think about feeding birds is cleaning up after the birds, which is really important to do because there's all kinds of nasty little funguses and diseases they can get if you leave your place messy. So I've got a little bit of time here after work before the sun sets to clean up after the big freeze we had. And it's a mess. Yeah, it's a little bit gross. Yummy. Ew. Yeah, I don't think so. Oh, dude. The other thing people don't think about when they're buying bird feeders is, how do I take this feeder apart and clean it? I've got several different kinds here, and I'll show you a few little tricks in taking them apart, and I'll show you my cleaning process, which starts with all that stuff right there. You need a rake and a broom of some kind and a scoop for cleaning up all the hulls and stuff on the ground. What I call my yard driver, my piece of junk that I keep in the backyard for whatever that happens to come up to take things apart, maybe even some pliers or some needle nose. The hose, get a bucket of hot soapy water, a couple of different brushes, yourself nice pair of rubber gloves to protect yourself. A sprayer is really handy, and I like to drag out the big cooler to soak my feeders in while I'm cleaning them. First part is the least fun part, sweeping up. I'm not trying to make this spotless, but I don't want places where it's going to pile up and get moldy in wet weather, and I don't want a whole bunch of extra seed laying around that's going to attract rats and mice and all the critters that chase the rats and mice. Part 2, time to get into scrubbing bubbles, and this is just for the standing parts. It's actually a tire brush. Tire brush works real well, getting in all around the edges, all in the corners. Scrub, 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 dissolving the nasties. Hot soapy water on the suet feeders. Comes in handy for all these poles. Get their perches cleaned off. Anything they perch on gets a little soap on it. They get a firm spray. Whew. Firm spray. And the spray tight on all these surfaces on the tray. Spray it from underneath. Everything is rinsed and they get bleached. They sit and disinfect while we clean the actual feeders. All these surfaces get a blast of bleach solution. All these poles, all the tops. Doesn't take long, just a quick spray, just to get them good and wet. First thing to do is pull them down and empty the feed. I just empty out little feeders that actually have a little bit left in them into that bucket, and then I'll either mix it in and get it toward the bottom of the compost heap so it doesn't so it doesn't attract rodents, or I'll just toss it. So a big part of this cleanup is sterilizing the feeders and the areas where the birds land, so you're not spreading around that nasty. They can get pox and they can get conjunctivitis and other things like that. So soaking your feeders in a bleach solution for 10 or 20 minutes is a pretty good thing to do. I like to just bring out the big old cooler, put 8 gallons of water in it, and Audubon says no more than a 9-to-1 ratio of bleach. That's pretty heavy. And I use a 16-to-1, which is really easy to remember. It's 1 cup of bleach per gallon of water. 8 gallons of water in the cooler, 8 cups of bleach in the mix, and that's a 1 pint jar there, so that's 2 cups, four glasses of this stuff, and away we go. So here's the process. Take them apart, hose them, scrub them, put them in the bleach to soak, take them out, soap them, clean them nice, hang to dry. Got it? So I have obtained a variety of tube feeders over the years, and all 4 of these are different. This is a Droll Yankees, this is a K Feeders Enterprises, this is the used to be brass colored and now it's rust colored, I don't know what it is, and we've got the Wild Birds Unlimited, and Wild Birds Unlimited always wins when it comes to cleaning. You can see as old as this feeder is, it has, you know, if you want to take it all the way apart and just thoroughly clean this tube, there's a screw in the center here with a nut on the other side, so you can pull these parts apart. For this you don't need to. And on the bottom, press the buttons and pull down, and oh my gosh, is that ever easy. Here's our Droll Yankee, and I just have to hope that I can get the, there we go, well, the plastic slid off the other side. Get that out of there, and finally you can pull this off, and so that one's apart. This one is really nasty. You see those little reverse washers with friction washers on there. Get out the channel locks and let these two sides play tug of war, and whoever wins comes off. I'm just twisting and using pressure. That's off. And then if you get it started, there you go. If you get that little washer started, then you can wobble, 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 wobble until it gets to the end. Pull that out. You want to put that back on because you're going to lose it otherwise. Put the screw back on there. That's a part that goes in the bleach. Now that bottom comes off, and you can scrub this one. This one's not too bad, really. These posts unscrew, and you can get the bottom apart. Whoop, fairly easily. Again, put it back together and drop it in the bleach before you lose it. Into the cooler you go. This comes off, ready to scrub, but it's got this nice little part in here that catches the seed and holds it up for the birds, but it also collects moisture, doesn't drain very well. You reach in here, you see these little tabs. Those little tabs, you push that in, put the screwdriver in there, and push it so the tab sticks. Then you have to turn it and put pressure on it at the same time. Turn it and put pressure on it at the same time. Turn it, and off it goes. So then you got that part out, and that's ready to scrub. And this one is my least favorite of all. It's got little plastic or neoprene nylon little friction fit deals that hold it together, and you got to kind of squeeze them together with a needle nose and push them out of the hole. And I get it squeezed together there, and I pushed it out of the hole, see, and then it comes apart so that you can pull these two bottom pieces out. I just dump those in there, and then the bottom comes off, and you can scrub away. This is one I don't recommend. I got it, it was really cheap, and why not pick it up, right? Well, it's not the easiest to take apart, and the way it's designed, it just doesn't have much lip around these holes. So this is the first feeder to get emptied every time, and it's because it's just so open down here at the bottom. You know, the birds pull out one seed and 4 more come with it. They were nice enough to put universal and not force me to get a Phillips screwdriver in here, but when you turn that and get it loose, and don't do this over the grass. There it goes. Okay, the nut fell out. There's that little nut. And you pull this part out, and there's a itty bitty little screw. Can't lose those. You have a little pin right here that holds the bottom in. So you pull those both out, and then you can pull off the bottom and scrub away. And the last 2 feeders I have are actually pretty good. These are Bromes. Plastic up here, metal lids. They're fairly heavy. They got a sturdy build to them. And so far, I mean, the 2 years, they've held together pretty well. And on the bottom, they just have a friction fit. So this just has friction fit tabs. I don't know if you can see it. So you just push in on the plastic, and you can work this down. Give it to the other side, push in on the plastic, work it down out of the hole. And there you go. You see that little See the hole here, and there's a tab here pushing on the plastic. Out the bottom comes. It's got this nice little plastic filter in the bottom that holds the seed up out of the water, and it drains really well. That's one thing I really like about this one. It doesn't collect a lot of water and get gross, too gross at the bottom. I mean, rain always gets some, but it comes apart pretty easily. They're universal. I'll probably get some more of these kinds of feeders, and that drops out. And if you really want to go nuts cleaning it, all you have to do to take the sides out is to turn them sideways and drop them out. I don't think I will this time, because these were cleaned pretty well a couple of weeks ago, or before the ice hit anyway. And just pop them back in. Nothing to it. Clean the tubes to get ready for the bleach. All I do is a strong spray. And spray like this. Maybe and then use the tire brush. Getting inside, getting in close to those, in around the feeding holes. Just a pretty rough scrub to get the chunks off, because we're going to soap it later and everything. But this is just, I'm just cleaning it up good enough to put it in here and let it soak. While your other things are soaking, all this stuff has been bleached for long enough, and you want to get a good rinse just to get the bleach off of there. You don't have to go nuts, but give it a good bleach rinse to get all the bleach off, especially the bird feeder. You don't want to give the birds bleach. Now it's full and ready for tomorrow. It's clean and ready to go. That goes in here. They like to sit on that. I'm not going to show you this part for everybody, but the process is you take them out of the bleach, put them in the soap, give them a little scrub. Remember, it's getting a nice soapy scrub, get the bleach off, and he'll get reassembled and put out to dry overnight with no feed in him. He's back together, and I'll just hang him up like this and let him sit to dry.